Anime Winter 2020 is fully in the swing right now, and yo, Yosuke! Let's go ahead and talk about Dorohedoro. Stay tuned.
はいへ、東でさえそうかかしは。
何言ってるかわからんぞ。
What is going on, guys? My name is DJ Milez, and before we begin with this review, if you can go ahead and like this video and subscribe to my channel for more anime content down the road. And now let's go ahead and talk about one of the most talked about animes of this upcoming winter anime 2020 season, and that is Dorohedoro. This is episode 1, Who Am I? And this was under a lot of people's radar because this is one of the more popular mangas out there now being adapted into this 3D CG style animation. And let's just go ahead and talk about that first. I don't think it's great, but I don't think it's necessarily bad either. I know that's going to be one of the first things a lot of people look into. And the world is definitely a Judge Dredd, Mad Max vibes with some character concepts of Borderland characters, you know, just running around the world in between. Colors are a bit muddy and a bit, you know, down and depressing, but I think that's what the aesthetic of the style or what this show is going to be about and what it entails. So let's actually just talk about the premise. The plot centers on a man named Kaiman and his search for his real identity after transformation by a sorcerer left him with a reptile's head and no memory of his former life. Along with his female friend, Nikaido, he violently assaults sorcerers in the hole with the aim of taking their heads into his mouth, where a strange face will appear and whether the sorcerer he has bitten onto was the one responsible for his transformation or not. Somehow Kaiman is immune to magical effects and as a result is extremely dangerous to sorcerers. And that is pretty much the rundown of this show and pretty much what the pilot of this episode introduced for all of us, right? I think the pilot episode for any anime or any shows in general has a lot of ground they have to lay. They have to introduce the world, what it's about, who's our main character, and the chemistry he has with his ensemble cast, or at this point, Nikaido in this instance. And can I just say the voice actor of Okuyasu does a fantastic job as Kaiman. I like to see his voice. It was very energetic and one that always stood out to me when I watched JoJo Part 4. So Kaiman is a pretty likable guy. I mean, he's definitely tortured by a past, which we'll explain here in a second. Living in the world that they're in, they have to be a bit tough. I do like the opening scene of this anime where we see Kaiman and Nikaido beat up two henchmen, and we end up finding out that plenty of these sorcerers have all the magic just in their fingertips. So it seems like if their fingertips are gone, they can't really use magic anymore. And that opening scene was, I don't want to say a bit visceral. I think it was just getting me introduced to this world of this nitty grittiness of, okay, what is going to happen here? And this is going to be kind of a dark comedy, right? So we see Kaiman opening his mouth, and we thought, or I thought, henchman number 1 was gonna die. And then we see a man coming out of Kaiman's body, slowly popping out to this henchman and ask him the simple question, hey, are you the guy that caused this freakish transformation for me? Nope. Okay, well, you answered my question. And because of that, I guess you're pretty much useless for me now. Boom, there goes the Mortal Kombat fatality. And I'm like, okay. So this is the world of Dorohedoro. But definitely the highlight moment of the episode for me was when Kaiman and Nikaido was facing off against this skeleton person who we end up finding out is this little girl, and she is sought after. I forgot why, so someone tell me in the comments down below. But as Kaiman was like, oh, you're a little girl? Well, screw it. I'm still going to try and eat you and see if you're the sorcerer who laid this spell upon me. Before Kaiman got his answer, the little girl is being yanked by the original henchman that we saw that survived the opening shots between Kaiman and Nikaido. And wow, what an intense scene afterwards, because we see the girl now with her face actually peeled completely off. Oh my god, this is okay. This is a very dark, mature story. I don't know if that little girl's going to be alive. My guess is she's going to be safe for episode 2. And the scene that followed after that was when Kaiman was throwing up. Hey, Kaiman, you're not used to throwing up after just consuming alcohol. Oh, but then he's just vomiting blood, and then what comes out of that is the person that was inside of his mouth, and he gets out, and you just see this very visceral scene, and that was actually the scene in this episode that made me, you know, just squirm a bit, and I'm like, ooh, that was a little too gross, but if this is just the pilot episode of Dorohedoro, I don't think we even got a taste or a sample of what's to come in terms of grotesque stuff, which I kind of want to know what the author was thinking of when he came up with this concept of this universe and the characters. I'm just like, wow, what psychedelic trip did you take to come up with all of this imaginative stuff? So after the dream sequence, we see Kaiman actually fleshed out for a bit as a character. So when you have these nightmares over and over again, you just become immune to them, but that still doesn't lessen the effect of what it does to you when you wake up, which sucks for our main protagonist here. And I like the mystery that they've given us so far. Why is Kaiman immune to magic? Probably because this body that he's under, which he doesn't even know if that person inside of him is the real version of him or not, is another sorcery laid upon him, and that's why he's immune to this magic? Or is he just naturally gifted to be the hero of this story because XYZ? So I guess we'll find out in due time. And I do like this concept of the Hole, this place where people who maybe just don't have enough money or an income, or just like this abandoned place where people go and live because they just can't go anywhere else. It's sad to see that people are being experimented on left and right. And then we end up seeing some of our main villains in this show. We see some guy with red hair, and then we see some guy with like his face inside out. I don't know what that was about, but it looks like he's going to be a main guy who has to put a stop to Kaiman because the sorcerers who experiment on the humans, they've noticed this routine that, wait a minute, there's this guy who hangs out with the girl who's halting our progressions on what we want to do with these humans. We got to put a stop to it. And that's how the episode ends. But guys, what did you think about Dorohedoro? Did you like it? Did you hate it? Is it too visceral for you guys to see? Or for people who have read the manga, we're going to be introduced to some much more cooler stuff down the road and down the pipeline with this show. So this was my first impressions. Overall, I like it. I like the concept. The CG, I think, is a hit or miss for some people, but ultimately, I think this is a fun show. I'm kind of curious to see where we go with it as the weeks to come. But yeah, that was it for the review. Go ahead and like this video, subscribe to my channel for more anime content. My name is DJ Milez, and as I always say, to be continued, take care.